Can Jeff Gordon win 3 in a row? Will Dale Earnhardt Jr. still lead the points race at the end of the night? That's as close as it gets. We'll keep an eye on Tony Stewart on this short-tempered short track. And a 20-year-old rookie is on the pole. Let's go upstairs to the guys who call the race with the Mike Joy, of course, Larry McReynolds and Darrell Waltrip. Mike on the front row, Brian Vickers, Ryan Newman, but they got there in different ways.
Newman was the first driver to take time, and he was really loose. He just kept his foot in it and was rewarded. Vickers had a very smooth, stable lap, and he becomes NASCAR's second youngest pole sitter ever. But because of the new surface, Larry, drivers were kind of all over the grid as far as where the fast cars really sit. So if you're starting out back, what's your game plan?
Well, it's a phrase we use a lot at short tracks. You have to be patiently aggressive. You know you've got a good race car, and this race is 400 laps long. So if you've got that good car, you've got to make sure you stay on the lead lap. I think that's important. If that crew chief can pull some strategy throughout some pit stops, maybe catapult you up to the front early, and you can keep that track position the rest of the race.
But Darrell, some drivers in this field already have their night moves figured out.
Oh yeah, this is a Smarty Jones racetrack tonight. This baby's fast, and if you were in that Busch race last night, that's going to pay big dividends tonight.
I think especially watch Greg Biffle, Joe Nemechek. They were in that field last evening, the Funai 250, and Biffle had an extremely strong car, as did Kevin Harvick. We're at the ready in front of the 25th consecutive sellout crowd for a Cup race at Richmond. Let's go trackside.
Gentlemen, now that you're buckled in, start your engine!
Welcome back to the Chevy American Revolution 400 at Richmond International Raceway. Sellout crowd late arriving, climbing up into these grandstands on a very hot, sunny day. As you see that crowd, saw it from our Chevy pace car cam mounted on the rear bumper, that Chevy SSR pickup that paces the field. There's our U.S. Army starting grid scrolling across the bottom of the page. Brian Vickers is the second youngest pole sitter in the history of NASCAR. Pretty cool. Dick Berggren.
Well, there were 2 practice sessions for tonight's race, and Ryan Newman was the fastest man in both of them. Last September, he won the race here at Richmond. He qualified on the outside of the front row. This young degreed engineer from the state of Indiana will be a contender to win the race tonight, Steve Burns.
And so will Joe Nemechek, Dick. He led 156 laps here a year ago. It was a dominating win, but that was with Hendrick Motorsports. He's struggling to find that elusive chemistry with his NB2 Motorsports team. They have just one top 10. But in the happy hour practice last night, he ran 80 laps of practice and was consistently in the top 5. He starts from the top 10 tonight, Matt Yoakum.
Steve, Jimmy Johnson trying to make it an all-Lowe's weekend, and Kyle Busch won last night in the Lowe's Busch Series car. But a win tonight would be huge because Richmond is one of only 2 racetracks where Jimmy's never scored a top 10 finish. He qualifies 5th. The team chased a braking problem in the final practice session. They changed just about everything underneath that race car in the braking system. They won't know till the drop of the green if they've cured it. Mike?
Getting set for the start here. A little bit of a jumble on the pace laps. 2 drivers slowed or stopped down in turns 1 and 2, and now will pick up their positions in the field. By the way, Donald Thomas was 20 years and 3 months old when he won the pole at Lakewood Speedway in Atlanta, 1952.
There's our air temperature, 84 degrees. We'll keep a close watch on this track temperature here. We're starting about sunset. It will continue to go down. What we saw in the Busch race last night, the more the temperatures went down, the more rubber on the racetrack, the more cars wanted to slide the nose. They had to keep adjusting on those cars last night. Sure, it will be no different tonight.
By the way, I wasn't in that race either.
Onboard views including some neat short track shots that we can give you. There's Greg Biffle's suspension and brake cam.
We will get a lot of shots from this one right here.
Robbie Gordon, front balance cam tonight. 400 laps, 300 miles around the 3/4 mile oval.
DW, now that you're buckled in, reach up there and pull them belts tight one more time.
All right, get ready. Look at it, boys. Let's go racing.
Ryan Newman in the 12 car, he'd like to slide down that bottom groove, get behind Brian Vickers, but Jeff Green in the 43 car, another good qualifying run. He'll take second position. Ryan Newman in the 12 will fall in the third.
Mid-pack, Mike.
Robbie Gordon at 31 really slid the front wheels getting in the corner right there. Looks like he locked the brakes up.
Get up high, there's just it's pretty slick. Got a lot of brake on these cars anyway. I think he's got a little damage right there, Larry. That looks like a left front's down.
Just like he started the race last year here. It's down, all right. It's right on the rim.
The left front here, exactly right, Mike. And look at all the cars that's trying to go around him. They're bottlenecked 3 and 4 wide trying to get to him. He's trying to get to the bottom where he can get to pit road. I don't think he'll make it this time. It's deja vu of a year ago.
Earlier today, Robbie was going around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway at 215 miles an hour. This is different, and he's going to start this race in the hole, having to pit under green.
Either they're making these fenders on these cars stronger, or the left rear tire is softer than it used to be.
There you see it right
Or
there.
left front tire. The left side tire just seem to see all kind of cut down tires this year.
He will make it to pit road this time. It's all the way down. What you look, you see how much it's already killed the left front fender, probably drug the sway bar arm off. He's going to be a lap down or better before he even gets to pit road.
And now that we no longer race back to the flag when the caution comes out, Gordon is going to have a tough time making up the at least 2 laps he will lose in the pits. Caution flag is out for tire debris from Robbie Gordon. Let's go to Steve Burns.
And Mike, they weren't even towards the backstretch when the team jumped up on the wall. Robbie Gordon telling them they had a problem. They'll change both left side tires. And as you guys pointed out, he battled back from 3 laps down a year ago, but trouble right off the bat for Robbie Gordon.
He looks like he's only going to go 1 lap down, though.
Yeah, he did. He just lost that 1 lap. He got out in front of the lead car here.
So the caution flag is a brick for Robbie Gordon. He loses 1 lap, changing that left front tire. Back under green as speeds build into turn 1.
This is on a restart, over 130 miles per hour. You talk about Robbie Gordon. Brian Vickers took the green flag at the start-finish line. He was over a half a lap down on the backstretch with a single-file restart. See right there, about 95 miles per hour in the middle of 3 and 4 off the throttle.
Here comes Newman to the inside.
Bringing Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that 8 car, our points leader with him. Right now, we saw this in the Busch race last night. They have Jeff Green in the 43 kicked to the high side, and they're freight training him right now, or trying to.
And Darrell, Newman's pass on green, textbook move for this racetrack.
Oh, yeah, get that nose underneath the guy, force him up a little bit, and, of course, you can go right by when that happens because there's just not enough room for him to race you down in the corner. There's enough room. There's not enough room to race a guy down in the corner. That may improve before the night's over with. I hope so. But, Larry, I'm driving that 43 car, and if it doesn't come to me pretty soon, I'm going to be in trouble.
We're going to be looking for a caution.
Jeremy Mayfield underneath green, moving the number 19 Dodge up into 5th place. Just ahead of them, the Lowe's Chevy of Jimmy Johnson. Here's Matt.
Jimmy's climbed up 1 spot to 4th while his teammate, the leader, Brian Vickers, says his car is excellent. Jimmy says the car's a little free. He's broken it down into corners. A little free in turn 1, decent in 2, really good in turn 3, but he can't get in the throttle when he wants to off turn 4. He says just a little too free. And the good news, he hasn't mentioned anything about the brakes. That means the brakes are good.
But, Matt, I think a little free based on the Busch race last night. I don't think that's bad because last night as that race progressed, the cars just tightened up, got tighter and tighter as the race went on.
Nemechek, one of those drivers Darrell thinks worthy of watching with the time he spent behind the wheel last night in the Busch race. The only nighttime action this new asphalt has seen. Will that be an advantage?
Well, it's got to be, Mike, because these guys that didn't run last night, this is a whole different racetrack than they saw yesterday afternoon. 250 more laps last night on this track. Definitely. We'll widen it out a little bit, widen the groove out a little bit, and change the grip as well.
Ryan Newman just ahead of Dale Jr. in second place. Dick?
He certainly is having his problems tonight, Mike. He just got on the radio and said he's going to need a lot of help tonight. His rear view mirror just broke. I hope that's not bad luck, by the way.
Well, Dick, with all the years he spent in midgets and sprints where mirrors are of little use if you have them at all, shouldn't be a problem, should it?
Well, it wouldn't be if you didn't have headrest and Hans devices and so many things now that, you know, that maybe you wouldn't have 5-6 years ago or in a sprint car.
We've been watching Casey Mears in the 41 car. He has the same problem Jeff Green had a while ago. He's caught that second groove, and about the last lap and a half, about 5 cars has went by him. There you see Michael Waltrip in the 15 going by, and that kicks him all the way about to 14.
Scott Wimmer right behind, and there's Mears alongside Michael Waltrip. Leader up on the left of your screen so we don't lose track of the lead battle.
And it's become a battle here. Absolutely.
Junior coming, and now just 2 car lengths away from the lead, Matt.
Working on Ryan Newman. He's got about a second advantage over 4th place Jeremy Mayfield, trying for his second Richmond win. And Larry Mack talking to Tony Eury Jr. like a lot of crew chiefs and car chiefs on my end of pit road. Everyone a little on the free side, and Larry Mack, like you mentioned, that's what everybody wants. At the start of this race, he's already taken over second. Now it sets his sights on leader Brian Vickers.
Now, I mean, all these guys that are complaining about being free, like Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Jimmy Johnson, I'm going to continue to monitor, ask him, is it staying free? But I think that's going to be good right now. It'll be better later.
Jeremy Mayfield in the tire tracks of Jimmy Johnson. Solid top 5 right now. Now his teammate Casey Kane crashed on the first lap of qualifying last night. Had to start this race last, and he's already passed 12 cars. He is up to 31st. Remember, brand new asphalt, new track surface here in qualifying. And Casey Kane tore one up right at the start finish line because final practice came pretty much right on the heels of qualifying. They had no opportunity to fix the primary car and had to go to a backup, but he was quick in happy hour last evening.
Yeah, and then if you get up out of the groove much at all off of turn 4, there's just no grip there. It's a little sandy from the new asphalt, and the back end will come around.
Robbie Gordon's coming.
Yeah,
he's up to 36th now from 43rd at the restart.
Yeah, but what they have to do with Robbie is they have to keep monitoring where he's at in relationship to the leader, because right now he is about 2/3 of a lap behind our leader, Brian Vickers. So he's got to be patiently aggressive right now.
26 laps complete. Here is our leader, the defending Busch Series champion, Brian Vickers, out front of Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Ryan Newman. New leader as the sun sets in Richmond. Dale Earnhardt Jr. out in front of Brian Vickers, Ryan Newman, Jimmy Johnson, Jeremy Mayfield. After 34 laps, just one quick caution flag. Junior having a very close look at the rear bumper, making the move inside, and Vickers gives him plenty of room.
Tell you what, I watched that 8 car in practice last night. You had a hunch he was going to be awfully good. This means now in 11 races, he has led 8 of them. That's 40 bonus points right there.
That's big. You got to remember that every week. You got to get those 5 extra points, lead the most laps if you can.
Dale. Continues to backslide now to 28. One lap before that.
Locks up the right front, getting in the corner there.
His teammate Jamie McMurray in the 42 had to yank it to the bottom in a hurry to keep from getting in the back of it.
All these guys back here are yanking it to the bottom there because the leader is coming.
Joe Nemechek and Jeff Gordon. Nemechek just made the pass on the DuPont Chevy. That's for 6th place.
Man, nice and smooth. Run that 19 down.
Five seconds off the lead is Nemechek. Tell you, Rusty Wallace and Mark Martin, they've been having quite a race of their own that has included contact already. They run 9th and 10th, and not without incident.
No, but that cat right there behind him, behind Mark anyway, in that 16 car, that guy going by right there, we'll be talking about him for the night's over with.
I guarantee we will. He was so tough in that Busch race last night, ended up finishing second to Kyle Busch.
Greg Biffle lacked just a car length of victory lane last night and said, I didn't want to have to hit him and move him because I don't want to win that way. I wanted to race him clean, and so I finished second.
Yeah,
that's not a bad day at the office.
I really was impressed with the way he drove against Kyle Busch those last couple laps, because he could have put the bumper to him.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. works under Jimmy Spencer to put Spencer a lap down, along with Hermie Sadler and Ricky Craven. Now pulls up on the 50 of Derek Cope. And Jeff Gordon trails Joe Nemechek there. Jeff in 7th place, Steve.
And Mike, as you just said, Joe Nemechek got by him. Jeff is saying his car is just a little bit tight when he picks up the throttle.
Can Jeff Gordon three-peat? And his 3rd in a row.
I don't know if he can or not, but I know here's one thing I do know. If you go a lap down at 43 laps into this race, you're going to have a long night. Man, he's got sparks flying out from under his car. Jeff does. Do you see that, Larry?
Yeah, and I think they're continue to run these cars so soft in the front end, get the cars down on the ground. Talked about the new asphalt here. Is you see right now, Dale Earnhardt Jr. lapping Casey Kane in the 9 car, but 29 cars broke the track record. That just shows you how much grip this new asphalt has.
That's kind of a surprise because Kane was very quick in happy hour in final practice, and he goes a lap down.
I just think, Mike, it shows how hard it is to pass. You know, he had all those cars he had to get around. He just couldn't do it.
Newman and Vickers keeping close company. This is for 2nd place.
Tell you what, pretty impressed with Brian Vickers in this 25 car. They came up here and tested, and I know after their test, they left here feeling awfully good about what went on in that 2-day test.
Guys, last night we got an opportunity to watch Kyle Busch kind of put everybody away during the Busch race. Well, right now, Kurt Busch is definitely making a march toward the front. He started way back in the field tonight, and he has just been steadily picking them off ever since he's dropped the green flag from 23rd. He's been coming to the front very methodically, just making passes about every other lap.
And you know, Jeff, even though this has not been one of his better racetracks, he's been the short track king. He's had 6 starts here with only 1 top 10 finish. He's only finished on the lead lap just once, as we have a battle for 3rd heating up with Jimmy Johnson in the 48 car underneath Ryan Newman in the 12.
We saw Kyle Busch at 8th place. This battle is for 3rd, as Dale Jr.'s in heavy traffic trying to put some cars a lap down. Still side by side there for 3rd place. As your leader clears the Brendan Gaughan car and moves in on Robbie Gordon. 48 laps complete, only 1 caution thus far in the Chevy American Revolution 400.
Welcome back to Richmond. And a lead change here. Jimmy Johnson, Dale Earnhardt Jr. We're on lap 56, battling for that top spot.
Well, right now, you see, Jimmy Johnson just went by Dale Earnhardt Jr., but he has been wrestling right now with Robbie Gordon for about the last 6 laps, and now he finally gets by Robbie Gordon, but that's after, basically, Jimmy Johnson took advantage of what he and Robbie were doing.
And Ryan Newman moving up to 3rd. He's yet to win this year, passing Vickers. Brian Vickers, the pole sitter, now running 4th. Vickers led a total of 14 laps in 3 races coming into this race, but he led the first 32 laps tonight.
Well, Chris, right now, watch Dale Earnhardt Jr. He didn't like what happened. He's trying real hard to get back by Jimmy Johnson. He felt like, hey, I was being patient, giving Robbie Gordon every opportunity in the world to give me a little bit of racing room, but look what happened. All of a sudden, he loses the lead, and now we got Ryan Newman getting by Newman and getting back Gordon. That is, closing in on Dale Earnhardt Jr.
And our NASCAR race menu brought to you by Wendy's Classic Hamburgers. It's better here next Saturday live from Charlotte. It's NASCAR's NEXTEL All-Star Challenge, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific, here on FX. Next Sunday from Nazareth, Ole Miss NASCAR Busch Series Racing, 12:30 Eastern, 9:30 Pacific, also on FX.
Right now, Kurt Busch also has moved up to 5th place, Chris. He's been coming very slowly, but very methodically since the drop of the green flag, I said earlier. He's right down the bottom of that yellow line as we come up off the number 2 corner, off the number 4 corner and head down the front straightaway. But he really looks like he's got a car that's working really well.
And Dale Earnhardt Jr., as you mentioned, second. His only short track win came in Richmond. He said he's always liked Richmond because you can run side by side. And that's a happy duo, and it makes him a happy dude. Mike?
Kurt Busch up to 5th from 23rd on the grid. That is quite a climb here in all the traffic. And Darrell, I'm as surprised as we were last night that this has become a 2-groove racetrack so quickly, and it's so raceable here.
Yeah, we saw that last night, but this racetrack, it's just the way it's designed. You slide up off the bottom just enough that you're going to open up another lane up there just by virtue of driving your car around here.
But I'm going to tip my hat to NASCAR for a move they made in the Busch final practice as well as in the NEXTEL Cup final practice. They put cones up and made them run the second groove about half of their final practice. I think that helped the second groove come in last night in that Busch race.
Yeah, that's all it really needs is to be used. You know, it sets up there, and if you don't get on it, it'll never come in.
Riding with Michael Waltrip right here, he just lost a position to Mark Martin in the 6th car. Michael's back in 11th, 12th position. This seems to be one of Michael's better runs here at Richmond. Started back in 18th. Had a pretty disastrous night last night in that Busch race. I don't know that he learned a whole lot for tonight.
No, he was in about 4 or 5 wrecks last night. It was the Waltrip Wallace show last night. Between Mike Wallace and Mike Waltrip, I think they were in about every wreck.
Mark Martin, Jeremy Mayfield, and Michael battle there for 10th place.
That was probably because Rusty was in the hotel and I'm up here, and they brothers wanted us to talk about it.
We see those rotors really glowing on the front of Jimmy Johnson's car in the 48. That's out there in clean air with leading the race.
Well, you know, we heard him say he had a brake. They changed the whole braking system on the car. Appears to be working okay.
And he said he had a terrible vibration in the middle of the corner right before he got onto the brake. This right here is Greg Biffle's right front. You don't think these brakes are getting hot. This is down in the corner. You can see the suspension travel. But look, even on the straightaway, it does not cool down that much. But Darrell, I thought so much about this last night after the Busch race. We saw the same thing on Kenny Wallace's car. And what I'm thinking, and talking to some crew chiefs, the track has so much grip. They're in the throttle so much early. That makes the entrance speed of the corner so much greater. How do you slow it down? More brake. There we see our common denominator, Tony Stewart, the 20 car, qualified back in 28th. Now, he's moved up to 17th, but he's about a half a lap behind our leader, Jimmy Johnson.
But he's moving toward the front, and you see that on our Yamaha serial score. As we talked at the top of the show, a lot of drivers with fast cars did not qualify up front because of the vagaries of the brand new asphalt surface that sat in the sun for a couple of hours without any activity on it before qualifying took place. Some drivers ran hard, some ran too hard and paid the price. Some drivers took it easy, qualified back in the pack, and like Matt Kenseth and Tony Stewart, are now moving forward.
But Matt Yoakum, Tony Stewart seems to be pretty patient right now, even though he's fighting these guys for position.
The two champions working over for position, Larry Mack. And I talked to Greg Zipadelli about 2 hours before the race. They made a number of changes. They felt like they had a good race car, but not a great race car. A lot of fine-tuning. In fact, they had some discussion over which gear to run for tonight. And Tony came on the radio about 25 laps ago and said, we made the exact right decision. The gear is perfect. The car is great. We're just going to slowly work our way to the front. Steve?
Matt, we're monitoring Jeff Gordon. He just told crew chief Robbie Loomis on lap 60 that he's experiencing a very bad vibration, and they don't know why.
And of course, I think the first thing these guys start thinking about when they feel a vibration this deep into a run at lap 71 is something possibly going on with my right front tire. We just saw Scott Wimmer, their 22 car, make an unscheduled stop.
But Larry, it's brake related. You got these brakes so hot and use them so much that you warp one of the rotors, and it'll make the car vibrate really, really badly when you put your foot on the brake.
And I know one of the big fears was with the brakes getting so hot, it's cooking the bead of that tire right there on the rim.
Wimmer's the second driver to make an unscheduled pit stop. Todd Bodine was in about 6 laps ago. Casey Mears about to fall a lap down to Jimmy Johnson. Darrell, the outside car gets such a good launch off the corner that even when you have the preferred line on the inside, it's no easy task getting by here.
Oh, you just about got to use the old short track theory. 8 tires are better than 4. Got to lean on that guy a little bit and shove him up there where there's not any grip. Then you can get right on by. But you got to be careful when you do that.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. closes to within a half a second of Jimmy Johnson, your leader, after 74 laps in Richmond. Second lead as he and Kurt Busch are about to get after it for the front spot. Greg Biffle and Rusty Wallace had an encounter of the short track kind right there.
Yep. That's what happens when you go down in the corner under somebody. You know, you got to have a little slide factor there.
And the result was Biffle's teammate Jeff Burton moving past Greg and up into what was then 9th place. They're now 10th and 11th.
That's a pretty hard lick. You know, when we can hear it, that's pretty hard.
Burton in that 99 car is sitting back here in 10th, but I tell you, we knew it wasn't going to be long. Kurt Busch in that 97 car, he has caught the leader, Jimmy Johnson. His car is so good on the bottom of the racetrack, especially in the middle of the corner. It just rolls through the middle.
Kid can drive a short track there. I mean, you know, watching him at Bristol and seen him run really good at Martinsville and here tonight. He's a good short track driver.
See, he's just able to turn that car down.
Trouble down there. Man.
Jeff
the 9 car just knocked it, just pushed the 43 out of the way.
Jeff Green.
I don't know. I couldn't tell if Jeff got out of the throttle and the 9.
Well, we're sorry for that, folks. We picked up some live radio conversation and tempers flare. We apologize for that going over the air. But Jeff Green had a great qualifying effort. He started 3rd, and he has pancaked the left side of that car up against the wall and goes straight to pit road. We'll see if he turns into the garage or not.
Yeah, that caution was a huge break for people like Bobby Hamilton Jr., Dale Jarrett, and Ricky Rudd.
See what happened here. The 9 just goes down there, and
pictures pretty much tell the tale there.
the only excuse I could make for that is I thought he was going to go and he didn't.
Yeah. Casey Kane turns Jeff Green around to bring out the second caution of the night at lap 101 of 400. Green's car now behind the wall and the winter net down.
And Terry Labonte in the 5 car had just went a lap down, so when we go back racing, he will get the pardon, the free pass to be back on the lead lap.
Got to back and look at some tape from the lap before.
Yeah, let's see if we can find out the rest of the story here. Here's the 43 behind the 9. Now he gives him a little nudge.
Well, now, and in fairness, this is what Tony Stewart was asking us to do. He said, you see the result, you don't always see what leads up to what happens that we talk about. Yeah, this time, we did.
Guy's got to know you got to make a little contact. I mean, that 43, you know, nudged him. I didn't see where it was that big a deal. But, Steve, what'd you see?
Kurt Busch coming down pit road, DW. As crew chief Jimmy Fennick said, you're the fastest thing out there. They're not going to make any changes. Kurt saying I'm just a little bit loose in on the beginning of a run, so they're just going to put on 4 tires. Dick.
Ryan Newman is in. They're going to try to loosen the car up with about every adjustment that they have available to him. His hand is out the window. He is waiting for a roll of tape to fix that rear view mirror. Matt.
Leader Jimmy Johnson in. They've already made a wedge and track bar adjustment. Jimmy said the car was loose in. The 97's out.
Oh, a tire's out. And everybody misses it getting by, but one is rolling across the end of pit road.
Boy, it's so hard to see that tire. You know, when you're coming down pit road behind another car, that car moves out of the way and it's just sitting there right in front of you, but it did roll all the way out into the edge of the pit lane.
Asphalt's black, so's the tire, so's the wheel, and that's not the brightest part of the track.
And the guy in front of you he swerves to miss it, and there it is.
Here's the race off pit road. There you see the tire right there. That's the line that determines who beats who off pit road. Kurt Busch and Jimmy Johnson. Kurt Busch wins the battle, but they have to split the tire and wheel rolling across. Ryan Newman just gets by it.
Dick is with Jeff Green.
Well, he just waved me off. He doesn't want to talk right now, Mike. He's had a tough time. Realized that the last race out in California, he qualified third. Engine failed on him. Tonight, he qualified third, and he has crashed out of the event.
The errant tire was from our pole sitter, Brian Vickers. And we're under the second caution of the night. Casey Kane and Jeff Green get together. Green's car behind the wall. Short track Saturday night at Richmond International Raceway, getting ready for the restart. The Chevy SSR pace truck pulls off, and it's going to be Kurt Busch leading him down. Green flag.
Now, we need to document about that tire rolling across the pit road on our pole sitter, Brian Vickers. The penalty for that is tailing the longest line, so he gives up a top 5 restart position back about 20th now as we have 21 cars on the lead lap.
And that's what I preach to Jeff and everybody ever worked on. Please don't beat yourself. Got a great race car sitting up there. Now you're in trouble.
Isn't that what you preach to those kids at
That's what I told the
Kentucky
kids at Kentucky Wesleyan last week. It's the worst feeling in the world.
Kurt Busch pulling away, Steve.
Mike, I'm listening to Kurt Busch. He just very calmly told his crew chief, Jimmy Fennick, the power steering just went out, and then he just said other belts went as well. He may have to come to pit road.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, he won't run long if the other belts came off. As a matter of fact,
All right. What else do the belts drive, Larry?
Yeah, I mean, you've got the alternator, and of course, you've got everything on the front. And, you know, you have the oil pump belt up there, too. That would be a huge concern. See, Bobby Labonte in the 18. Right now, Kurt Busch in the 97, he almost can't get out of the way. Bobby's trying to get back on the lead lap.
but what Kurt does now, if he just lost power steering and everything, it takes a lap or two to adjust your driving style, feel the car out to see what it's going to do with no power steering.
Something streaming out the right side.
Yeah, I'm not so sure that maybe there's an overflow pipe right there, and possibly if the water pump is quit turning, that thing is probably put the engine.
Go over and put some, get some belts on his car. Right by the opening where as we go out of the garage.
That's Jimmy Fennick, the crew chief.
The first opening? Man, I'll get in. Okay, right there, Kurt, wherever the opening is there.
Steve Burns and
Let's
Busch's
get it right
crew
there.
running
Get the water
that
tank and
car.
let's go ahead and get the belts on.
And Mike, he's pulled the car behind pit wall. Crew chief Jimmy Fennick getting the whole team over here saying they've got to get all the belts back on. They've all been knocked off.
And a lot of times when you knock all the belts off like that, what it probably may have been is a big clunk of rubber off of a tire or something.
Well, you know, Larry, think back to Martinsville. The Roush cars had gas line problems. And tonight, I mean, we got a belt problem here.
Water pump will get the belts on it.
And I think that's the most critical thing would be the belt got knocked off the water pump. That's the reason it was running hot. We talked about it a while ago. He has 6 starts here. He's only finished on the lead lap once. It won't happen again tonight.
Darryl, it's a good thing there's a lot of room there in turn 2 because a number of drivers have been forced way up the hill there.
Yeah, nobody wants to go up there, but once you get that stuff on your tires, it's like hitting ice.
Yeah, it was Calamity Corner last night, too.
Tony Stewart continues to climb up through the field. He is up to 8th place. Right behind Greg Biffle.
Started back in 28th position.
Well, Bobby Labonte would like to see a real quick caution here right now. Looks like he's gotten this car a whole lot better than it was early on.
Hey, I've been watching Tony. He's starting. You can see he's not running the bottom right there. As we can continue to see Jimmy Finney and that 97 group try to get the belts back on that car. Right now they are 6 laps down. Starting to see a battle shape up here in the second position with Dale Earnhardt Jr. right with him in the 8 car right now.
Kurt Busch came in here 5th in points. Log jam, turn 2. Rusty Wallace almost got the worst of it. There it is as it separates out, but they were 3 wide and 1 more car down on the apron. Things happen quickly and disperse just as quickly here.
Just coming off these corners, coming off of both corners, there's just no grip up high, and you get forced up there, and there's nothing you can do but just back off and wait.
Oh,
It's about the second close call that Rusty Wallace has had earlier with Greg Biffle.
maybe he's the common denominator.
Tonight he seems to be.
We got to denominate first.
Right. Rusty outside Johnny Sauter. Sauter's teammate Kevin Harvick had a look inside. Thought better of making it 3 wide there.
Johnny Sauter is back in 28th, actually 1 lap down in the 30 car. His teammate right behind him, Kevin Harvick, in the 29, he's in 13th.
And Harvick's got that edge from running the Busch race last night. He finished 3rd and was a contender to win most of the evening. But for car in the wall, turn 2, Jimmy Spencer.
Caution is out. That will be a huge break for Bobby Labonte in 18th. He raced his way back on the lead lap, and Jeremy Mayfield in the 19 should get the free pass.
Yeah, Bobby's got his car running good now. I mean, he's out there in front of the leader, and they were not gaining on him.
Didn't see what happened to Spencer, but there was not a big knot of cars where Jimmy was when he went into turn 1. Let's have a look.
Really think he's just struggling with the car. Got left at 43, 4 laps there. Just gets up out of the groove, can't stop it. Now you can't steer it, kind of just bounces along there.
Jimmy's had a tough weekend here. Hey, we talk about who this caution is a huge break for, especially a huge break for Jimmy Finney in that group working on Kurt Busch's car. They lose a lot fewer laps under caution than under green.
That's true. Busch came in here 5th in the point standings. So, Jeff Hammond, they've got to work hard to get that car back out. Show us what they're doing.
We're right now down the Ford cutaway car, Mike. What's going on in the 97, guys? This is a power steering belt. This is the water pump and alternator belt. Now, fortunately for the 97, I don't believe they kicked off the oil belt, which would definitely have damaged the engine. What they'll try to do is replace this belt as well as the alternator and water pump belt, because the car was overheating by pushing the water out. You can see it out the overflow. They're trying to get this car back on the racetrack as quick as they possibly can to salvage as many points as they possibly could. That's what's so important. You can see them guys are swinging wrenches everywhere. Everything's very hot down inside the engine compartment. Think about it like this. Almost 1,000 degrees being put out underneath the hood of that car. Plus the radiator, about 240 degrees. So those guys have got to be careful to get everything done right. They don't want it to happen again and possibly lose an engine and have to lose more valuable points.
Jeff, they've been behind the wall for 5 minutes. And Kurt Busch right now is 13 laps down as several cars make pit stops, including Brian Vickers, Ricky Rudd, Terry Labonte, Bobby Labonte, Dale Jarrett, and the 09, Bobby Hamilton Jr. We're under caution at Richmond. This is NASCAR on FX. Pace car driver Buster Otten's on the throttle. He makes the hard left. Here they come with Jimmy Johnson out front.
This is where the clock thickens. We've got 15 cars on that inside line. This is where it really gets treacherous.
And you know, Larry, Jeff's problem is you'd like to run a lot of camber.
Junior, look at this for the lead right off the bat.
Boy, he got a shot off turn 2 going down that back stretch, and they're side by side into turn 3. Jimmy Johnson in the 48 on the bottom.
Bottom usually will prevail. Get a little run off that corner. But what I was going to say about Gordon, you'd like to run a lot of camber, but you can't because of brake heat and because of the heat in the tire. So the front end will chatter sometimes.
Lead change in turn 1. Earnhardt inches ahead to turn 3.
Look at Ryan Newman in that 12 car. He pulls right into the thick of them.
Johnson comes right back, retakes the lead.
But Junior goes back down the front straightaway on the outside.
Junior just can't quite cut down. If he could ever cut down, he could probably go on.
Darrell, how many laps can they keep this up?
Oh, somebody will give. I mean, you know, somebody will say, hey, this isn't working.
I'm going to tell you what, I am so impressed with this racetrack. Brand new asphalt. We never dreamed we'd had side-by-side racing like this. Look at it. It's been going on for 4 or 5 laps.
Maybe he's got a good second groove up there. But you can see off it, too. You just can't miss your line over there or you'll get up in that loose stuff. But when you hit it, you can really accelerate down that back straightaway.
I think Ryan Newman in the 12, he's been watching Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 8 car. He's trying that second groove now. See if he can get by Jimmy Johnson in the 48 for second.
Johnson's not giving it up. He's up to the quarter panel of Earnhardt, middle of turn 2, but now Junior pulls away. Here's Matt.
Under that caution, Jimmy Johnson told Chad Knaus the car feels much better. Still a little free in the center of the corner, but much more drivable. Meanwhile, Dale Earnhardt Jr. told Tony Eury Jr., he said, what adjustment did you make? They told him, he said, don't do that again. That's not the way we want to go. My car did not react the way I needed to. Doesn't seem to matter, though. Junior's out front, at least at the moment.
Junior, Newman, Johnson, Gordon, and Tony Stewart is up to 5th.
Tell you what, this is a Tony Stewart-looking type of night here at Richmond. It started back in 28.
Up turn 2. Robbie Gordon got into Scott Wimmer, but Wimmer avoids the wall. He's 22.
That was lucky. That was just lucky right there.
No caution. Robbie Gordon trouble. He must have cut a tire down. The car went straight. Now the caution's out.
38 car, good break for him.
Yeah, he'll be back on the lead lap.
Probably had something happen to his car going into turn 3 over there.
I just wonder when they got together over there, did they possibly knock a valve stem off or something?
Yeah.
Make that tire go down.
Well, first the left front, now the right front.
I know one thing, you just can't make a lot of contact. You're going to cut a tire down if you do.
Of course, these tires do not run the inner liner or the safety shield, so when the air goes out, you're down on the rim.
Right, you only got about 12, 14 pounds in the left side tires when you start, and about 22, 3, 4 in the right front. So it doesn't have a lot of air in it. We're just off of a caution.
See, the car just took off and went straight. I guarantee you he had the steering wheel turned, but it wasn't turning.
Robbie just hadn't had a very good day. Didn't qualify all that great in Indy. Started the night off bad here, and it's getting worse.
The fourth caution of the evening comes at lap 136, and Robbie Gordon has really wrinkled up the right front. Pit stops continue under the fourth caution of the night. The Chevy American Revolution 400 at Richmond. Most of the leaders stayed out. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Ryan Newman, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, Tony Stewart, the front 5. Let's look back at this incident that brought out the fourth caution. And way at the bottom of your screen, you will see Robbie Gordon and Scott Wimmer come into view right there.
That's where the contact was made on Robbie's right front tire. Now he's going to go down the back straightaway, and the tire's going to go.
And again, we talked about it a while ago, possibly knocked the valve stem out of the rim.
Gordon's made a couple of trips to pit road, and now comes in once again.
With no interliners in the right side tires, I mean, it's pretty easy to cut one of them or knock one of them down.
Mike, you talked about some of the cars, pitting cars on the lead lap that pitted was Ward Burton, Terry Labonte, Bobby Labonte, and Elliott Sadler, who just got the free pass.
All right, we're listening on Jimmy Johnson trying to diagnose his car.
My biggest problem is landing at 3. I get loose, but it comes back to me at the end of the run. Right now, I'm starting to get a little snug everywhere else, but I still get that snap loose down here in the center of 3.
We'll try to work on that here a little bit. Let's be ready, guys. We'll do what they do here. Stay up in your second groove right here, 1 and 2, 31. Truck the right front real hard at the bottom.
What he meant doing what they do, that means if all the leaders pit, we're going to come with them. But after only about 33 laps on tires, most of the leaders stayed out, as you talked about, Mike.
And it's loose in there, Larry. You put a little air in that right front tire, that'll help that. Then you need to make an adjustment maybe on the left rear tire to help it turn better off the corner. So work on the cars diagonally.
1 to go, and we'll go back to green. Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s crew leading the McDonald's Drive-Thru Championship, fueled by Powerade, among the teams that choose to compete in that competition. Kurt Busch's team second. They will fall from that position. Tonight, he spent 8 minutes behind the wall making repairs when he lost the belts off the front of the engine. Dale Earnhardt Jr., Ryan Newman, Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon to bring them around for this restart. Tony Stewart fifth. Greg Biffle, Mark Martin, and Jeff Burton.
Now you see Sterling Marlin in that 40 car right there. He's back in the 24th position trying to get back on the lead lap.
I want to see what these Roush Fords do. There's 4 of them right in a row, 6th through 9th. Not quite up on the lead, but lurking, Darrell.
Yeah, they always run good on the short tracks. I mean, you can count on that. Kent's is good on the short track. We know Biffle is. The 99 needs to be.
Yeah, I mean, the only Roush car that's not there, like Jeff Hammond talked about, is Kurt Busch, who was basically leading the race when he had trouble. Looks like Casey Kane in the 9. He's having looks like he may have a left front tire rub. We've got a battle for the lead.
It's Ryan Newman and Darrell right on the restart. Everybody wants to gun for the lead. Last time Junior, this time Newman.
Yeah, get them while they're all, get them while they're there, and there's clear track ahead of you.
Junior, though, not to be denied. Smoke from Casey Kane continues. He still stays right up there in that front pack.
I tell you, that car back there in about 5th place, Larry, Tony Stewart, he just keeps creeping into the picture.
He's got the inside on Jeff Gordon, and Gordon can't get past Kane.
Uh-oh, this could be big.
3 wide. No.
Get ugly right here.
And Greg Biffle in the 16 car, he's going to take the position away from Jeff Gordon in the 24 too, as they're side-by-side off turn.
I'll tell you, Jeff Gordon is the best big picture racer I have seen. He could have stuck it in there, but he's thinking, like we say, big picture. He's not thinking about who's getting the spot on this lap. He's thinking lap 400 and wisely backed out of it there.
Got 250 laps to go, so he's still got plenty of time. Don't beat the front end all up. Cut a tire down.
He's trying for his 3rd win in a row. Tony Stewart just cleared Casey Kane, trying for his 1st win of the season. There's the Home Depot Chevy, number 20. New colors on it tonight. A little bit of nighttime black added to the usual white and orange.
And you know the thing about Jeff Gordon, he could win 30 in a row, and it wouldn't be a surprise to me.
He runs good at every racetrack we go to. It don't matter, road courses included. Hey, Greg Biffle, though, in that 16 car, we're riding with him right now, a lot like his Busch car last night, so good through the middle of the corner. He carries so much speed through there.
Back at 12th place, Jamie McMurray and Rusty Wallace. 2 Dodges side by side.
And what we have to remember, Jamie McMurray in the 42 car, he qualified back in 37th position. He's the biggest mover in this race so far.
Oh, gosh, big wreck, guys.
Yep, hard in the wall, Brendan Gaughan.
77 car, hard in the wall.
And that'll be caution number 5 at lap 150.
That had all the markings of a tire as well.
That'll be a huge break for Sterling Marlin, Jamie McMurray's teammate in the 40 car. He will get the free pass now, so we'll have 24 cars on the lead lap.
Looks like his tires are up. I don't know if we can't take a look at it, see if we made some contact there with somebody.
The 9 car had a tire rub, but it's almost like once it gained some air pressure, it quit rubbing on the left front.
Oh, sometimes they'll make their own clearance.
Hopefully in the right way.
That's right.
Let's see what happened to Brendan Gaughan in the Kodak Jasper number 77. The yellow car right there.
Yikes. Looks to me like he got a little help from Terry Labonte. I tell you what, you drive with anticipating that people are going to do the same thing you would do. And sometimes a rookie driver just doesn't do what you anticipate him that he's going to do.
You mean like back off in a certain spot or hit the brake in a certain spot or so hard?
Exactly. Always kind of, you know what every driver can do, but as a rookie, you're not sure.
Nonetheless, caution is out for the 5th time this evening in Richmond. And Newman, Jimmy Johnson, Tony Stewart, Greg Biffle, we're getting set to go. I think it's time to open the windows, crank up the surround sound, and let it go.
Crank it up.
Green flag, green flag.
Change. Here comes Newman.
Inside with the nose. Inside. He's there. Inside.
talked about the Roush Fords a bit ago. Let's catch up on the Robert Yates Fords. Dale Jarrett is up to 8th, and his teammate Elliott Sadler got the free pass 13 laps ago. Now he's up to 11th.
Started back in 31st position. You know, he's had a lot of success here, but over the last 2 years, this team has really struggled. He was one of 11 cars that did not pit on that last caution.
Meanwhile, at the lead, Ryan Newman got alongside, but could not pass Dale Jr. Matt?
Mike, when they were running side by side, Tony Jr. nudged me. He said, did you see him stick his hand out the window? He was just playing with it. But back when Jr. was running side by side with Jimmy Johnson, it even impressed Jr. He came on the radio after he took the lead. He said, how good was that? He said, for the first time in my career, I felt like my old man for about 5 minutes. His old man being legendary Dale Earnhardt.
Tell you what, he looks like him right now out there leading this race. You saw it. He's led over 60 laps in this race. Now, his car works so good in the high line, the second lane up, which makes it really lunge off the corner.
Yeah, and if you're...
Whoa, Newman, here he comes again for the lead.
Look out, Jimmy Johnson in the 48. He's going to take advantage, too.
That's what happens when you get up in the high line. It's just such a fine line right there that if you go in too hard or get shoved up a little bit, you're going to lose a lot of spots.
Speaking of the high line, Tony Stewart, that 20 car, he goes around Dale Earnhardt Jr. for 3rd position.
And I tell you what, I've watched these cars run here for years. They are flying around this racetrack.
Well, something has gone wrong with Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car. He's under a lot of pressure from Greg Biffle in the 16 car. We ride with Greg right now.
Not so sure when he got up out of the groove down here, he just didn't pick up a lot of trash on his tires. When it take him a couple laps to get them cleaned up.
Well, after 29 cars broke the track record in qualifying, you would expect that the race pace would be fast, but I don't think anybody expected this.
They're racing right now about a second faster than we normally race here. Wow. Race conditions. I mean, they're running at what we generally qualify here, 21-24 that last time back.
Tell you what, just to update our pole sitter, Brian Vickers, remember he'd been running in the top 5 after sitting on the pole, had that tire roll across pit road back on lap 103. We talked about pit strategies. Peter Suspenzo elected, since he was at the rear, to pit him back on 123. They have since stayed out. Now he's battled his way back up in the top 10, 8th position.
You show a lot of boys getting there.
And that's what I was talking about, the Goodyear engineer, Mike. They come here and test. There's no way to simulate what the condition is going to be when you get into the race, where you're running a second, almost what you qualified at here before.
While you were talking about that, he gets into Johnny Sauter in the 30 car just a little bit down in turn 3 and 4 that last lap.
They are the 2 top rookies in the race, although Sauter is 1 lap down in 26th.
Oh, good.
Oh, Harvick hit it hard, turn 2.
Well, you just get up high over there, it's going to get in trouble.
Lap 169, 6th caution tonight.
Pretty hard lick.
All right, here's up, guys.
Change the tire.
Kenny Schrader will get the free pass as Harvick has the right front down. Steve?
Mike, just to confirm that, we heard Kevin Harvick say it was the right front tire that went on the 29.
We've seen this so much last night and tonight, and I think, you know, yeah, some of them are being cut down, but I think some of them are just attributed to brake heat. I tell you, guys that did not want to see this caution is those top 11 cars that did not pit the last time. I think they'll have to pit this time.
Yeah, the other thing, Larry, is air pressure. A lot of these tires, particularly when one goes down that early after a caution, it was Delana, Kevin's wife there, who's a very intricate part of keeping him in line.
Darrell, Kevin did what I think a very smart thing there. He wheeled it down pit road. I mean, you know, he's going to get nicked for speeding, but that's a far lesser penalty than if he'd run the speed limit down pit lane and gone 1 lap down. Yeah.
We got up in that, looked like he really got in there hard.
Let's ride with him.
Yeah, you just hear it. Wham. That's a hard lick.
Hear most of those guys come to pit road. Most of those guys I talked about, Steve Burns.
Jeff Gordon said we needed to get off pit road. He said we are getting our butts kicked. They're going to get 4 tires. They'll also make a wedge adjustment on the 24 car of Jeff Gordon. In wedge adjustment in the right rear. Dick.
Ryan Newman also decided to pit. He had been the leader. I'm looking at that rear view mirror. It looks like Ryan's got it fixed. The mirror is now in its proper position. Matty.
Just completed a track bar adjustment for Jimmy Johnson. It feels like at the end of the run, it will be neutral to tight, but that's not where it is right now. On the bottom of your screen, Tony Stewart, he says his car needs to be tighter, but he doesn't want to take the chance on tightening it up too much, over adjusting it, so he didn't really want to touch the race car at this moment.
Well, let's see. Here's the Kevin Harvick tail of the tape. Too fast entering the pit, too fast exiting the pit, drove through 3 pit boxes on the way to his pit, ran over the air hose, and what was the other one? Well, there was another one. Pitted too soon before pit road was open, so let's see.
I think the penalty for most of those is started the tail end of the longest line, though. So
you got it.
He did what he was supposed to do.
Yeah, but he may have to do that for the next 4 or 5 times.
But he'll still be on the lead lap.
That's right.
Delana says shaking her head. Says, I don't know about all this.
It was worth the price. We're under caution at Richmond in the Chevy American Revolution 400. Getting ready for the restart with 27 cars on the lead lap, 175 of 400 laps complete this time by. Jeremy Mayfield and Jamie McMurray, 2 Dodges and then 2 Fords. Jeff Burton and Mark Martin head the list as we go back to green.
Let's see, how many laps down is Kurt Busch? 15.
A couple of lap cars out in front of the leader, or tail end of the lead lap cars, that is. Scott Riggs is up there and Johnny Sauter. So this will take a little while to sort out here.
Sir.
How Jeremy Mayfield in 19 got the lead. He pitted on that last caution, pitted on lap 153. I'm going to tell you another guy that we've really not talked about, Bobby Hamilton Jr. in that 09 car, making his first Nextel Cup start this year, qualified back in 26. This is a car that Johnny Benson and Joe Ruttman has driven. Same situation. They pitted back on lap 153, got that track position. He's up there on the lead lap in the top 10. Had a good run last night in the Busch race. There you go. He got that experience last night.
Riding with Michael Waltrip in 5th place, looking back at Mark Martin.
No pressure from behind. Nobody's coming.
Michael had a good car in happy hour. He was one of the fastest 10 in happy hour, and he's running a pretty good race tonight.
A lot of these guys up there in the top 10 right now are guys that pitted the last caution. They wanted to see that last caution. That way all those guys in front of them came to pit road to get their 4 tires.
Jeff Burton's got a mirror full of Joe Nemechek, who pulls alongside. That's for 3rd place. Oh, and they got together. Or did they? Or did Nemechek just sharp left to stay off of Burton there?
I think that's what happened.
You heard Joe have to get completely out of the gas. Joe Nemechek in the 01 car. That was a battle for 3rd position. Joe having a good solid run after a good solid qualifying run, qualified back in 8th, up there in 5th.
Let's again show you what happened there. Burton in the 99, Nemechek the 01.
Got a problem over on the back over there, guys.
Yeah, it's Harvick again. And in real time. Joe's mom, Martha, looking on.
Harvick's got another right front down. He's in the pits.
And I guarantee you, if Joe makes 400 laps tonight, Martha will do that every lap. Here you see Kevin Harvick came into this race 6th in the points. He was still on the lead lap even after that situation a while ago, but he's going to go a couple laps down. There you see Martha Nemechek again. Let's see if she does it again. There she goes. She'll have to do it about 217 more laps. But again, Joe Nemechek, he's the defending champion of this race. And this team with Mike Skinner in this race car back in September sat on the pole and had a good run as well. So their packages come together for this race. There she goes.
I'll tell you, too, his teammate, Scott Riggs, along with Johnny Sauter, doing a real good job of staying out in front of race leader Jeremy Mayfield, staying on the lead lap. Drivers have made pit stops, having a tough time trying to now work their way through the traffic. Now that things have sorted out, we run a few laps under green. Brian Vickers, Tony Stewart at 11th, Vickers at 12th, Newman at 13th, along with Jimmy Johnson, Dale Jr. and Jeff Gordon.
I tell you what, it wasn't too long ago, the 18 car was a lap down. He stayed in front of the leaders, got that lap back, and that car really looks good now. I mean, he is coming back through the field.
And Darrell, I tell you what, it was a real advantage to him when he was at the back of the lead lap cars. They kept coming to pit road every time the caution came out for 4 fresh tires and making adjustments. And I think they've adjusted that car to where they want it, Matt Yo.
A lot of adjustments tonight, Larry Mack. They got their lap back on lap 121. They made several stops throughout the night to try to work on the race car. It was just way too tight. He also had to pit a couple times just to check on the cosmetic damage after making some slight contact with the 97 car, Kurt Busch, earlier in the night.
12 laps to halfway. Jeremy Mayfield, Jamie McMurray leading Jeff Burton, Michael Waltrip, and Joe Nemechek. While the drivers who led earlier fight their way back toward the front from 10th place on back.
That 09 car got up out of the groove over there off the 2 and had to really check up.
See him here behind Dale Jarrett, the UPS car. These guys are battling for 18th position. Bobby Hamilton Jr. is back in 19th in the 09.
Boy, and Gordon and Matt Kenseth, Greg Biffle, they're having a go of it.
Brendan Gaughan returns to the race. He got into the wall to bring out the 5th caution of the night. In the garage, that leaves Dave Blaney, Jimmy Spencer, Herbie Sadler, Jeff Green, and Randy LaJoy. There's your leader, Mayfield, and now he's been caught by Jeff Burton. And Burton, who's been trying to wake up his season, now's the time as he hunts the lead with Michael Waltrip closing in. Here goes Burton for the lead.
Well, yeah, I don't know, Larry. I got to think back to the whole year, and I don't remember Jeff Burton leading the lap this year.
But you know, Darrell,
he loses it.
No caution. There it is. Caution is out. If he can get it going, he will stay on the lead lap.
Yeah,
Get it going.
he didn't hit anything. He just was trying to stay off of Jeremy and had the wheels turned to the left quite a bit. The back end came around.
Dude, I got no power.
Oh, no.
Switch batteries. Try starting it again.
Right now, the leader's coming off turn 4.
He's got to go to stay on the lead lap.
Sounds like the engine stalled out on him and he can't get it refired.
Here he goes.
He's got it. He's got it.
Spun around. Go. Excellent. Attaboy.
So he will stay on the lead lap.
I don't know. I think Roundup works better on those wheels than sliding through them at 120 miles an hour.
Oh, that's his wife.
Kim Burton.
Kim, yeah. Well, he was going for the lead.
That's just it. If you could have spit it out, good you're going for the lead. But now Jeff Burton's got to come back.
This was coming off turn 4. Car, he was trying to keep it down. It just got loose with it.
Yeah, you just keep turning. You stand in the throttle. You keep turning left, turning left. Finally, the thing just jumps sideways with you.
I believe the beneficiary of the caution is going to be Kyle Petty, getting the free pass.
He's going to put 27 cars on the lead lap now. The engine evidently stalled out on him right there, and then he was having a hard time getting it. It looks like it still may be running there, and then it stalled, and he couldn't get it back fired, but he finally did.
Thank goodness for 2 batteries. You heard him say, low power, switch to the other battery. There you go. That's kind of what we saw in qualifying with a couple of cars. Coming off of turn 4, trying to stay in the throttle, and the back end snaps out. You can see she just starts coming around, and buddy, there's nothing you can do about it. Stay in the throttle all the way to there. Now he locks it down because he's in the grass. Keeps those wheels cranked around there. Nice.
Doesn't look there like he'd been up the front valence or anything as he slid off.
No, our leader, Jeremy Mayfield, in the 19 car, he comes to pit road along with Mark Martin, Ricky Rudd, Jeff Gordon, Bobby Hamilton Jr., and a bunch of others, Matt Yoakum.
And Kenny Francis talking to Mayfield on the race car, talking about possibly, but yep, you can see Tank Probst making the wedge adjustment. For Mayfield, going to hit it with the can of fuel. The 24, Jeff Gordon, in as well. Continue work on the left side of Mayfield. Finished second here last fall. He's down and away.
Looked like they made an adjustment on the right rear on Mayfield's car, either a spring rubber in or a shock adjustment, a click or two on the shock. They did something to the right rear.
And two other cars that got a big break with this caution. There they are, Johnny Sauter and Scott Riggs. Both were out ahead of Mayfield all through that green flag run and stayed on the lead lap. So here's how they came off pit road. And the driver shown in yellow there spent the least amount of time in the pit lane. Matt?
Indeed, W, you're exactly right. Why it took a little longer on the right side, you saw the front changer come around first. They were putting a rubber in that right rear. It does take a little bit longer on a normal stop.
They know this track's getting tighter and tighter. We've heard that complaint about a lot of these cars, and that rubber in that right rear increases that spring rate. It'll help it turn from the center off. There you see it right there. You see it 50-something seconds. Everyone else in the low 40s, and you even see Ward Burton right there in the 34-second bracket.
So Jeremy Mayfield will go from the lead to the tail end of the lead lap when we go back to green.
Oh, there they go.
Turn two. 2 laps of green, and then as they work traffic, Joe Nemechek and Jamie McMurray pile it hard into turn 2.
That was the second, third place car behind leader Michael Waltrip in the 15.
Well, we were just talking about that there was a big jam up of cars right there. Jimmy Johnson got in it. I don't know if he hit anything.
I don't think so.
Joe's car is demolished.
So 3 of our top 5 cars.
8th caution at lap 202, coming just 2 laps after the restart. Now let's show you what happened.
Oh, Joe just he's down underneath of Jamie, and they make contact.
Looks like Jimmy Johnson, the 48, just spun out on the bottom with no damage.
Where they get bottlenecked back here. Look at Rusty. Now, Joe just got in a little too hard underneath the Jamie. You know, that's a shame.
Well, look at Darrell, I guess some old habits die hard. When the caution comes out, racing stops, but I guess it takes a minute.
Yeah, but Mike, you can't just stop.
No, right?
You know, you got a lot of cars around you. You got to kind of keep moving. So I know what you're saying, but you got to be careful that you don't slow down too much.
Out of our leader, Michael Waltrip, in the 15 car.
Hard contact for Jamie, and quite honestly, Joe was just, you know, drove in there a little too hard underneath of him.
And I understand what you're saying, Darrell. You're trying to clear the wreck.
Right.
And you're not really trying to race anybody, but you're trying to get away from trouble before you become part of it.
Yeah, you just don't want to slow down and somebody run into the back of you. So,
Matt?
A lot of conversation, Mike, with Chad Knaus and Jimmy Johnson talking about the 48 car. Jimmy's relayed to Chad the damage that he thinks he sustained in that crash. He feels that he might have also bumped that right front. Not sure if the toe is knocked out or not.
Well, everybody's driven away. Nemechek has made it back to pit road, and McMurray to the garage.
yeah, actually, Joe, I don't know what he lost there, the rear fascia.
That spoiler is going to be either real effective or real bad.
I think it was self-adjusting.
As we're under caution, Jeff Hammond, it's been a testing night so far. Green and Kane getting into it, that just kind of started things.
Just kind of start things. You see right now, Jeff Green got in the back of Casey Kane, but Casey retaliated. On round went Jeff Green.
Rusty Wallace involved in a couple of incidents here with Greg Biffle, and then Riggs and Robbie Gordon has been having tire problems.
Oh, I got together down there and off of turn 4 right there, and right after that, Robbie Gordon went behind the wall. Now we see Brendan Gaughan getting spun out by Terry Labonte right there. So basically, just rubbing racing off Saturday night, but most recently, look, going down this corner here, you see a lot of contact between the Joe Nemechek as well as Jimmy Murray.
And they're cleaning up the track here. Talk about, malfunction of equipment.
Equipment failure right there. We still have trouble down in turn 2.
That's the way to sweep things up. So with Jamie McMurray involved in that incident moments ago, let's check in with Steve Burns. Steve?
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Jamie's just climbed out on the race car. Jamie, what happened on the racetrack? You guys had cut from the back and made a great run.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he got loose underneath me or if I pinched him off. I knew he was there. I was going to let him go and just got turned around there. So I don't know. He's not that kind of guy. So it's just a tough deal, though. Had a good car. Had a good car last night. Just no luck this weekend.
Jamie, how bad is the damage? Can you get back in the race?
I don't think so. It's knocked the rear clip down so far that I don't think we have any way of picking that back up. So probably done for the evening.
All right, thank you. Let's go to Matt Yoakum.
Steve, good news here in the 48 pit. First off, the toe is fine on Jimmy Johnson's Chevrolet. He says the steering wheel lines up perfectly. Just some cosmetic damage to that right front. 3 different stops on pit road as Corey Quick and Ryan McRae fixed that cosmetic damage around that right front tire so it would not rub. Today,
Michael Waltrip started 18th. He has passed them all and is now leading. Slugger Labby, how much have you had to tune on that car to get to the front?
Well, so far we've only put 8 tires on. It's been a pretty good night so far. Napa Chevrolet, been loaded really good here on Friday, and everything's been going good. So far, I had a great happy hour last night, and just looking to have a good finish now. We've had a rough start to our year, and hopefully turn around here tonight.
And a few moments ago, we heard your driver say the car is awesome. Chris?
All right, thanks. And there is Jeff Gordon, who is trying to win his 3rd straight race in and out of the pits. Michael Waltrip leading.
And you see right there, Chris, they've done some repair work in the right front corner of that race car. Now, you think about a short track, well, why are they worried about that? But here in Richmond, you carry so much speed around the racetrack, you still want to get that front downforce as much as you can.
Running 2nd and 3rd currently, it's Gibbs Racing with Labonte and Tony Stewart, who's all the way up to 28.
Those guys right there have really got their act together. Bobby Labonte got his lap back, and Tony Stewart, he's just been very quietly just kind of working on everybody all night long.
Now working on the night moves.
That's
this
right.
has been a Visa race break. Let's get back up to Mike, and we're ready for the restart.
We're just past halfway, and Michael Waltrip, who in 36 starts here has only led 3 times for a total of 25 laps in his career, has now led the last 16 circuits here.
Yeah, and he's only led 1 lap at Vegas, and I think he led about 13 laps at Talladega. That's all the laps he's led this year, so it's big to be out front right now.
Do need to mention that Jeff Green, as well as Casey Mears, is back out on the racetrack. Jeff Green, that group, lost 105 laps repairing the damage from that race. Restart here, 190 to go.
We've seen a challenge to the lead on every restart so far. Let's see if Bobby Labonte can take it to Michael Waltrip, and that's if they can clear the lap car of Kevin Harvick.
Now, Kevin Harvick is 3 laps down from the trouble he had a while ago with the right front tire.
Oh, yeah, and of course he's on a lot fresher tires because he's been in and out of the pits.
And here comes Labonte to the inside for the lead.
Oh, he should get position here on Michael because he's been really quick. Bobby has. But that 15 will get off of turn 2, though, Larry. That maybe shoots down that back straightaway.
And Tony Stewart's right there. And so is the 25, pole sitter Brian Vickers.
I mean, Brian Vickers, remember, he's trying to recover from that tire roll across pit road, having to go to the back of the field. And there he's up in the 3rd position, trying to battle Tony Stewart in the 20 for 2nd. Perseverance and patience has paid off for him.
Well, and again, Larry, the cycles of the pit stops. When you see the front of the field keep rotating from guys that stop and then the other guys that don't. So you get to move front to back quite a bit.
But I said before, and I say it again, it shows a lot of poise for a 20-year-old. I know he's won a Busch championship, but as a Cup rookie and a first-time pole sitter, a lot of adrenaline, but a lot of composure, too.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. When you got a good race car, it makes you smarter. It makes you look smarter.
You saw the singular question about the safer barriers here at Richmond. One observation I'm making, is even though Jamie McMurray's car was damaged a lot, before they put these safer barriers in here, a lick like a lot of these cars have taken, you'd never be able to drive them back to the garage area. So I think that's a big tip of the hat, even for the single car wrecks, for the safer barriers here.
No question that that'll go down in the history of our sport as one of the best things they've ever done.
See Jimmy Johnson move back into the top 20 of the number 48, passing Rusty Wallace.
Modern technology, Larry. It's a great thing.
Yes, it is. And by 2005, every racetrack we race at, I think, should and will have the safer barriers.
If you don't believe me, it's a great thing. These engines are turning 9,500 RPM tonight. We used to do that if it jumped out a gear.
Yeah. Tony Stewart now closing in on Michael Waltrip for the lead.
Remember, Tony qualified back in 28th position. He's just been steadily working his way toward the front.
Now he is the best of that group of cars that all pitted together. That included Jimmy Johnson and Dale Earnhardt Jr.
Yeah, they were on pit road back about lap 171, about 40 laps ago.
Matt?
Tony Stewart still seeking his season's first win, but if you're a Tony Stewart fan, you know, normally he's a slow starter. Only once in his career has he won before the month of May. Tony telling crew chief Greg Zipadelli, who's working out a case of laryngitis himself, which is tough here at a very loud racetrack like Richmond, says the car starts out a little too free at the beginning of the run, but it slowly comes in lap after lap after lap.
You know, a car that had a good qualifying run last night, Elliott Sadler in the 38 car qualified for 14th. They found a lot of debris in the oil filter, and they decided to change that engine, had to go in the rear of the field. He got a lap down early from starting back there, made his lap up on a free pass. Here he is in the top 10 in 6th position.
There are now 26 cars on the lead lap. Ricky Craven got the free pass on the last caution. Kyle Petty the caution before that.
This racetrack has not been good to Elliott Sadler in that 38. 10 starts here. His best finish is 17th.
Stewart looking inside of Michael Waltrip for the lead.
It's just like these guys that run up the groove just a little bit like Michael Waltrip does. It's just hard for that guy to get the bite off the corner on the bottom side.
Yeah, Tony's car is good, but it's not great. I just saw him bobble as he went off into turn 1. That thing jumps out from under him every now and then. One thing I'm noticing on Michael's car, he's not using a lot of brake, Larry. I don't see a lot of brake glow like I have on some of the cars.
Let's also show you the 7th place battle on the right of your screen. Matt Kenseth going after Ryan Newman. Just keep edging away on the bottom of the racetrack there.
Ryan Newman, 4 starts here, 1 win and 2 second-place finishes. Always has run so well at this racetrack. Matt Kenseth has 1 win here.
I'll tell you something, this track will wear you out, and particularly with this new surface, because you're in the turn so much here. You never really get, you got 850 feet down the back straightaway, and that's all the straightaway you've got here. And this place, with the speeds you're running, the grip they've got, it'll wear you out.
Kenseth just keeps trying and trying. He gets right up to the door handle of Newman's car, if they had door handles, that is, in turn 2, but just can't do anything with him down that straightaway.
And he would put the bumper to him if they had bumpers.
226 of 400 laps complete in the Chevy American Revolution 400. You know, as the laps wind around, helps to have a sense of humor, so much so that 2 of the NEXTEL Cup spotters are professional comedians. Mike Kalanoff, who spots for Matt Kenseth, and Fat Boy, who spots for Ward Burton. So it helps to have a sense of humor. But Joey Meyer is our leader spotter. Michael Waltrip, professionally, he's a pilot. But he maintained his sense of humor when we listened in.
They're talking about debris here off of 2. Just keep your eyes open. Of course you would. You're not going to drive with them shut, but just a figure of speech. But old Buster up there in the old pace truck said it was just tape. He didn't seem too concerned about it. I'm just getting really tired because I've been on my toes. The slugger's been telling me to stay on my toes. It hurts my calves.
That was under caution. As now Michael's got his hands full, and so does Joey Meyer, telling him where Tony Stewart is.
Michael's car just works so good off turn 2 on that high side. Tony just can't get around it.
Outside behind the 9 right there. Still outside with the 9.
Tony tried the high side, but he got trapped behind Casey Kane in the 9.
Clear, clear.
While these guys are racing like this, though, look at Brian Vickers in the 25 car, our bud pole sitter. He's coming to the picture back there in 3rd position.
I just think, Larry, I watched him race tonight. It reminds me so much of that race last night when that rookie sat on the pole, dominated the race, but was very, very patient.
3 wide. Tony threads the needle, and he's going to try for the lead.
Michael's good off it too. I don't think Tony can pass him there.
Clear, clear.
What, with this new asphalt, these cars just fly through the middle of the corner. So much grip.
Larry, I just can't believe how fast they are. I mean, standing up here watching this under the lights, that always makes them look faster. But they are flying down the straightaway.
Well, Michael's last lap time was 21:79 here at lap 240. The fastest he's running the whole race was on lap 219, 21 laps ago at a 21:29.
And that's qualifying speed.
Yes, it is.
The track record was 21:19 when we came here.
There's a look at the speed as it builds.
29 faster than that 32 right here.
38 miles per hour at the end of the backstretch. That's the shortest straightaway.
32 outside.
Ricky Craven in the 32 car trying to stay on the lead lap. Tony Stewart, a lot like behind Casey Kane, got trapped behind him.
But the spotter did an outstanding job right there. He told Michael to go with the 32 or go with the 29 if the 32 was not as fast.
But here comes Tony on the bottom. Not there.
I don't know what gear Michael's got, but he's getting up off the corner.
He's also getting more company. Brian Vickers is right there in the 25.
Daryl, these guys are pulling 525, 529, 533 gears. Gears we used to pull at Bristol.
Yeah, last time I run, I think I pulled a 500 or maybe even a 486.
Dale Jr. in 4th, clearing the lap car of Ricky Craven.
See Kurt Busch there in the 97 car, and he's back in 32nd position, 14 laps down. Was leading the race earlier for the people that just joined us. Had all the belts come off the car. Had to go to the garage to replace all the belts.
Going to get crowded up here in the front before too long, guys.
Yeah, Matt Kenseth's coming. The defending Cup champion at 6th place. Running about 2 seconds behind Bobby Labonte. And Labonte right now in a solid 5th. He's about a second behind Dale Jr. Matt.
He's been riding in the top 5 for a while, Mike. Bobby reports the fatback. He says, I'm loose and tight. It's like I just don't have any grip anywhere. During the last caution, he joked, you know, if somebody would just hit me in the left rear, then I'd have every corner of the race car with a dent on it.
And that's pretty
Looks
rare
like
for
somebody
him.
has.
Yeah. Traffic, Jeff Green. Here's Tony again underneath Michael Waltrip. No.
Michael almost got trapped behind Jeff Green that time in a 43 car.
Tony is working on him, and Michael's using up all the racetrack.
But Michael, he has done a great job of hitting his marks every lap. He has not missed his line in the last 30 laps.
No, in the lap traffic, I mean, he's picked the right line every time. I give his spotter a lot of credit for that.
Tony Stewart also has a great car, and proof of that is there's not a mark on it. He's been very patiently working his way to within a car length of the lead. All right, Stewart the leader. Michael Waltrip in 2nd. And the 25, Brian Vickers in 3rd. He gained a little distance on Dale Jr. They were running nose to tail a moment ago. And now, Dale Jr. having to get by Derek Cope. Arnold development number 50. And that gives Vickers a little bit of distance. 5 Chevrolets in the front 5. The 5th of those is Bobby Labonte, number 18. Interstate Battery Chevy. And the first non-Chevy in the race is 6th place Matt Kenseth in the DeWalt Ford.
Mike, he's another car that pitted on 171, so once again, he can go about another 30 laps, a lot like the rest of the top 5 except for Michael Walter.
7th, the Altel Dodge for Ryan Newman, the outside pole sitter. Now he's about 5 seconds off the lead, and behind him by half a second or so, there's the number 16, the National Guard for Greg Biffle.
Man, the 31 got into the 5 over on the back straightaway. Was it the 5 that gave the 31 a shot earlier in the race?
Brendan, I know
down here in turn
Brendan Gaughan a shot was the incident that led to a caution. Biggest mover is Elliott Sadler, gaining 33 positions from where he started. And he's on the lead lap in 10th, got a free pass earlier and managed to persevere. Right behind Sadler comes Ricky Rudd, looking for his first top 10 run this year.
Now, as far as long ring runs, here's the guy sitting in the catbird seat because he pitted back on lap 195, so he can go about another 50 laps on his fuel.
Here, let's see what happened to Robbie Gordon and Terry Labonte.
That just gets together off of turn 2 over there, and I thought Robbie Gordon he's got more car control than anybody I ever watched race.
When you can see the right side numbers from the inside of turn 3, that's big.
Maybe that's what driving those sand cars.
I'm sure.
I've been wondering what a sand car is.
Tony has taken off. Tony Stewart's lead now 2.5 seconds over rookie pole sitter Brian Vickers. $270 down, 130 to go in the Chevy American Revolution 400 at Richmond. Tony Stewart has taken the flag and run off and hit by 2.8 seconds over Dale Earnhardt Jr. Brian Vickers, Michael Walter, Bobby Labonte. It's an all bow tie top 5. Now, just moments ago,
little trouble
over
there. Yeah, a little trouble off turn 2. 25 gets into Vickers and Schrader get together, and Dale Jr. says, "Thank you very much. I'll just slide right back."
Capitalized on it.
Seize the day. Opportunity knocks. Knock, knock.
Coming through. He who hesitates wrecks.
But I've been watching our leader Tony Stewart versus the second place car Dale Earnhardt Jr., the 8 car. Jr. has been catching him about 1.5 to 2/10 a lap here over the last 5 laps.
Give that man a call right in front of Tony Stewart, though, as Junior works Casey Kane. Who's laps down. Bobby Hamilton Jr. making his debut for James Finch and staying on the lead lap to this point. It looks like now Tony's about to put him 1 lap down.
Quite a battle shaping up for 4th place here. Michael Waltrip in the 15, Matt Kenseth in the 17, and Bobby Labonte in the 18. Now Kurt Busch in the 97 car. He's 14 laps down. But I think Michael is starting to see what over 100-lap tires will do to you. Again, we expect him to pit road the next 15 or 20 laps.
I don't think he's near as worried about his tires as he is his fuel right now. You know, it's either or. You run out of tires or you run out of fuel.
And here with this tire Goodyear has, it's all about fuel. Yeah, you don't pit till you have to come there for fuel.
Dale Jarrett will pit Steve Burns.
Yeah, Mike, he had gotten in trouble. He had worked his way all the way up into 10th.
Outside wall here. I'm sorry, Steve. 25 got in the wall off before.
Go ahead, Steve.
Just cap it off, Mike. He had worked his way up to 10th, but had gotten very loose. He last pitted on lap 169, so he'd been out there a long time.
Yes, basically 110 laps. That's getting right there to that window that we knew these cars could run on fuel. I think we're going to see a lot of the leaders starting to come to pit road here in the next 10, 15, 20 laps.
Well, Brian Vickers took a lap or 2 to feel out that number 25, Darrell, and must be okay. He's back on the gas.
Yeah, he is. And Sorry about jumping on you, Steve, but that looked like it's going to be a whole lot worse than it was.
280 laps complete. 8 caution flags so far, but we've been green for the last 70 or so laps. This race has had 9 different leaders. They've swapped the lead back and forth 12 times. Cars in the garage include Jamie McMurray, Joe Nemechek, Morgan Shepherd, Dave Blaney, Jimmy Spencer, Hermie Sadler, and Randy LaJoie. Tony Stewart out front now by 1.6 seconds over Dale Earnhardt Jr. Matt?
Brian Vickers is faded back to 6. They asked him, do you feel like you've got a tire going down? Like you mentioned, Mike, he took a lap or 2 to settle in. He says, no, I think I'm fine. They're planning on pitting around lap 300.
Let's have a look at what happened to Brian Vickers and how hard he hit that wall, Darrell.
Yeah, he was just up there skimming along, and I saw the dust fly along in there. He did get into it, but apparently no harm, no foul.
What he was trying to fill out, a lot like his teammate Jimmy Johnson earlier, did he knock the toe out of the car, which is the alignment of the front tires.
Tony Stewart's lead now is diminishing. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is eating into it, sometimes by a couple of hundredths, sometimes by as much as a tenth of a second a lap.
And the thing about being here with about 117 laps to go, even with Dale Jarrett pitting a few laps ago, this is a window that when these cars do make a pit stop, they can go to the end without stopping on fuel.
Here comes the 15 on pit road.
Well, and he was about out of tires, Darrell, as well as fuel.
Clear shot out here.
Michael Waltrip coming to Dick Berggren.
What's a lonely feeling.
This is Michael Waltrip's best ever NEXTEL Cup run at Richmond Speedway. In 36 starts, his best finish ever has been 12th. Today, he has been running at the head of the pack and in the top 5 consistently. He's run a long, long time on those tires. Since lap 154, he has been on the same rubber. With 4 fresh tires, full load of fuel, Michael's gone. And of course, what Michael Waltrip, Dale Jarrett, and everyone else fixing to come to pit road for these green flag stops, their hopes are that it will cycle through the green flag stops without that dreaded caution flag flying.
Yeah, the lonely feeling was being the only car on pit road.
Not coming to Dick Berggren.
Kenny Schrader pitting as well in the Schwann's home service Dodge. And he pulls out, rejoins the race where Tony Stewart opens it back up. He's now pulled out to 2 seconds over Dale Earnhardt Jr. Matt Kenseth third. Bobby Labonte, Brian Vickers the pole fitter. Then Biffle, Newman, Rudd, Martin, and Jimmy Johnson. Pit stops among the leaders. Tony Stewart's been in along with Bobby Labonte. Dale Jr. will give up the lead to make his green flag stop. Matt?
And the Bud guy's waiting for Junior to come to a stop. You can see the wedge wrench going to go in the back window of the car. Junior said near the end of that run, it's driving pretty decent now. As Tony Eury Jr. filling in back on the front as a tire changer. A little bit of trouble. Left rear, he's down and away. 16.7 seconds.
Larry, about half the lead lap cars have been in.
Yeah, I mean, along with these guys right here, Bobby Labonte, Elliott Sadler, Greg Biffle, Ryan Newman, Brian Vickers has all come to pit road. This is our leader right now, Matt Kenseth. Now, he was on pit road last at lap 171, which was about 125 laps ago. We expect him to pit road pretty soon, and that would let Ricky Rudd, who we documented pitted on 195, can go a little further. That would hand him the lead in the 21 car.
I love what Matt Kenseth told Robbie Reiser. Let me stay out long enough to lead a lap. And I tell you, that's a guy that's thinking. We talk big picture. That's thinking big picture. I hope he didn't run out of fuel, though. Uh-oh.
He becomes the 10th different leader.
He's out of fuel. He's out of fuel. And there you see it right there. 0 on his pit window.
Clear.
Right there.
Dick Berggren.
Don't get in, Robbie. I didn't run the line out. So 1 second.
Here comes Kenseth down pit road. They were concerned about running the car too far, potentially running it out of fuel. He fires the engine now. They had last pitted on lap 174. Engine sounds fine. They are running at this point on pit road.
Ricky Rudd at his home racetrack becomes the leader. Rudd hunting his first top 10 finish of 2004. He's been to victory lane here twice. 1983 and 2001. And now the Wood brothers, number 21.
Oh, car in the wall down there. Is it?
Bounces off Newman.
It was Newman. Yeah, I think he just come out of the pits.
And bounced off. If he did hit the wall, bounced off and kept going.
Well, that's one thing about these soft walls. You just seem to be able to bounce off of them.
New leader is Jimmy Johnson with Jeff Gordon as Rudd makes his pit stop.
Now, because of the problem he had a while ago, they kept coming to pit road to check the tow. He last pitted on lap 204, so he can go about another 20 or 30 laps before he has to stop.
Jeff Gordon to second, Ward Burton to third, Jeff Burton to fourth, and Sterling Marlin to fifth. None of them have made stops, nor have Scott Riggs, Rusty Wallace. Who just brushed the wall?
9 car.
Casey Kane. First, let's show you what happened to Ryan Newman up at turn 2.
Just gets up there and you just can't get down, I'm telling you.
Darrell, this is looking just like last night's race. As here's Casey Kane doing much the same. Once you get past halfway, and there's a lot of rubber debris and marbles built up the hill, look at all that dust coming out the back of the car. That's just the stuff you run into up there, and once you get up there, it's like being on ice.
And you've been out here so long on these tires, they're so hot and they're so sticky that you just pick up all that debris, and you've got no control over the car.
Of course, what Jimmy Johnson right now in the 48 car would love to see now, well, he'd love to see a caution. He'd have a lot of cars trapped 1 or more laps down.
He and his teammate Jeff Gordon, because Gordon is second, Steve.
Mike, Jeff Gordon last pitted on lap 209. The two-time winner here told crew chief Robbie Loomis that his car is too loose. They haven't set a game plan yet as to when they're going to stop, but again, 209, their last stop.
Crew chief Robbie Loomis, the Hendrick cars running 1-2. Trouble turn 2. Boy, they went in there 3 abreast, and Jerry Mayfield almost paid the price. Tony Stewart was inside of Dale Jarrett, who was inside of Mayfield, and that almost was big.
Now what you're seeing is a difference in tires. You got cars out there with good tires, new tires. You got cars out there on old tires. Disparity in speed.
But Darrell, what I love about the tire Goodyear's brought here, Jimmy Johnson, he's been out there almost 100 laps. His last lap was a 21.74. These guys at half-rev tires are only running 21.60s and 70s.
Ward Burton in third. He has kind of floated to the top of the pile, has not yet made that pit stop, but he stayed in contention all night.
The guys that we're talking about right now, though, if they have to cycle through their pit stops under green, they'll be pretty far back when they come to the end of the race.
Because of the little bit of time they are giving up on each lap running to the other car.
And you can't sit out there forever.
Yeah, Bobby Labonte just went past Ward Burton. The difference in their lap times, about 0.4 of a second right there. Matt?
Jimmy Johnson reporting to his crew chief Chad Canales the car is both loose and tight. Loose on entry, but it's tight off the corner. Now, Chad has taken some time to figure out their game plan for their next stop, which should take place in about another 15 laps at this juncture, looking at an air pressure adjustment only. And by the way, Jimmy has done the best job ever of trying to sell the fact that there is still debris on the racetrack. Of course, he does say it with a chuckle.
Yeah, just think about this. I'm loose, so I'm going in a turn with my wheels turned to the right. That makes me loose, so I'm chasing the car. Now, when I got to get the thing turned to the left so I can come off the corner, I'm pushing. Fix the loose.
And of course, what Tony Stewart and their 20 cars doing, there's a difference in fresh and old tires. He's trying to get back on the lead lap. He's in 8th right now, 1 lap down. Right now, we have 7 cars on the lead lap with 90 laps to go.
So Stewart among those holding their breath. That green flag pit stops will completely cycle through and put them all back on the lead lap once again.
Rusty Wallace has the best record of any driver currently racing in this event tonight. He said just moments ago that he needed to pit bad, real bad, almost out of gas, and he needed tires, Chris.
All right, Jeff Hammond, let's go over the guys that did pit. Obviously, green flag racing going on right now.
Well, as we're looking right now, we got 3 guys that haven't come to pit road so far. That's the 48 car leader, Jimmy Johnson, his teammate Jeff Gordon, as well as Sterling Marlin, who was a beneficiary of the free pass a little while ago. These guys right here, we're hearing right now also that Greg may be a problem on the 16 car. It looks like he's getting ready to come down on pit road. But these guys, as far as cycling through pit stops, when everything kind of shakes out, we see one of those guys coming to pit road, that's Sterling Marlin. But the way things kind of cycle through, it should make Tony Stewart the leader if everybody comes to pit road in the next little bit.
And the zero car coming in a second time. Ward Burton for missing a lug nut. Obviously, your pit crew has to be on their toes.
No mistakes is what you got to have. No mistakes. Is that right, Dick Bergman?
That's exactly right. No mistakes whatsoever. But Sterling Marlin's crew had a can of ether on a long pole, ready to put it into the air cleaner area if they had run out of fuel. That's how far they pushed this engine. The Matt.
Chad Canals waiting for Jimmy Johnson to make his way to his pit stall. Kenny Tulo-Briggs has made an air pressure adjustment in all 4 tires. When Kenny was done, Jimmy was called to pit road. They need a nice, steady stop here as they clean the windshield, pull a tear off that windshield so you can see a little bit better as they come around to the left side. And just see how hot those front rotors are glowing as they put on that left front tire. Great stop. He's down and away to Steve Burns.
Well, Matt, Jeff Gordon says his car is loose on entry. It's snug in the middle of the turns and loose on the exit. So they're going to put 1 round in the left rear. 4 tires for Jeff Gordon. This could be the last stop of the night. Needs to be a money stop, and it is.
Car to wall, turn 2. It was Casey Mears. He bounced off, kept going. Kyle Petty makes his pit stop. He is the last car to make a green flag pit stop. We've now entirely cycled through pit stops.
And what those 2 teammates did, Jimmy Johnson in 48, Jeff Gordon in 24, Jimmy pitted, Jeff stayed out a lap and led a lap, got his 5 bonus points. That's 8 out of 11 races he's led. Then he came to pit road.
Jeff Gordon became the 12th different leader tonight. Let's show you what happened to Casey Mears up in turn 2, which, Darrell, that's been Calamity Corner.
Yeah, it's just dirty over there, Mike. That's about, I know we talk about all the time, but there's no grip out there. Fine line between what feels real good and what gets you in trouble.
So now, with pit stops completed, Tony Stewart's the leader by 4.5 seconds over Dale Earnhardt Jr. Bobby Labonte third, Michael Waltrip, and Matt Kenseth are your top 5.
But Darrell, just to support what you were talking a while ago, Jimmy Johnson, he's still well on the lead lap. He's back in 7th position. He stayed out there on those old tires. He is now 12 seconds behind our leader, Tony Stewart. Now he really wants that caution.
Here's Johnson coming into view.
And that's a little over a half a lap behind our leader right now.
And, of course, they don't have to pit again, so they're good to go.
So green flag stops really jumble the field and spread things out a bit. Dale Jr. 4 seconds back of Tony Stewart. Chevy's in the front 4, Bobby Labonte and Michael Waltrip. Then Matt Kenseth, Jimmy Johnson, Brian Vickers, Ricky Rudd, and Mark. Dale Jr. 2.7 seconds back of Tony Stewart. Slowly but surely, he's closing up on the leader. Jeff Hammond.
Guys, I'm sitting there noticing on pit stops from the green flag pits a minute ago that Tony Stewart's guys came in, were able to get him in and out in a 14.9 seconds, but Dale Jr.'s guys struggled a little bit at about a 16.7. That's just about the difference of what these 2 guys are racing right now at. He's down about 2 seconds behind Tony Stewart.
Hey, who's coming, though, is Jimmy Johnson in that 48 car. He is clicking off laps that are about 2/10 quicker than our leader, Tony Stewart. Now, right now, he's 9 seconds behind the leader, but that's the difference in 35 lap fresher tires than our leader, Tony Stewart.
Yeah, he's turning up the wick, as they say.
But can he do it in 60 laps?
Yeah, he'd like to stop the clock right now.
He'd like to probably see a caution.
A little caution here wouldn't be bad, and I got to believe there'll be one. Let's get right in that. Usually right around 50 laps to go.
Bobby Labonte a solid third. He is about 1.8 seconds out of second, but he has a 4-second bulge on Jimmy Johnson, third to fourth.
Through that cycle of green flag stops, something we need to make sure we tell you is that Joe Nemechek is back in the race 95 laps down after that wreck he had earlier. No 1 car.
And in 36th spot. Now, behind Jimmy Johnson, Matt Kenseth, within a second of Johnson now. We listen in to Kenseth as he chatted with Robbie Reiser, his crew chief.
I think we missed it all night with air pressure. Got too much air desires. Now it's just skating around. Hang in there. We're doing okay here. Back on the lead lap now. Keep digging. Get your feet back. What the car's doing.
Smoker in 1. It's Scott Riggs.
Caution is out. Caution is out.
I missed it by 8.
9th caution of the night. at lap 342.
That was about a 120-lap green flag run without a caution. That'll be a break for Dale Jarrett. I think he will get the free pass.
John, Shane, let's look under.
It was 13 cars on the lead lap.
Dale Jarrett will likely get the free pass as Riggs coasts his Valvoline Chevy to the garage. And Darrell, you think the fellas with the fresh tires are going to have the edge?
Yeah, I do. A number of things happened here that I wouldn't be happy about. One, they glued the track. That means I'm going to pick up a lot of dirt and debris on my used tires. I like the guys with the newer tires.
I wish you'd look at them. They're 3 wide coming off 4, and the green flag's not even out.
Is now. Dale Jr., Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon. They are on used tires. Everyone else on the lead lap from Tony Stewart, Bobby Labonte, Matt Kenseth on back are on fresh tires.
Oh boy.
Traffic. Jam.
Baby. I think Dale Earnhardt Jr., our leader in that 8 car, he knows he needs to get out there and get as much of lead as he can while these guys are back there battling.
38 car got up out of the groove and almost hit the fence, but he keeps going.
Stewart and Gordon battle for third.
Like the same problem, though, with Gordon he fought earlier with Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Jimmy Johnson. He can't get that bite on the lower groove to get off the corner.
Steve?
Mike, Jeff Gordon stopped on lap 324. Then when the caution came out on lap 342, crew chief Robbie Loomis said, Jeff, you're flying. You're beating everybody by 0.3 of a second. Gordon replied by saying, yeah, but I'm not sure for how long. Robbie Loomis suggested that he could adjust the brake bias by half a round. Matt?
Steve, some debate about whether to stay out of pit. They finally decided their car is better on the longer run, so they felt like just leave him out there. Tony Uri Jr. told him right before we went back to green, you got 45 to go, get after it, just keep the G-Man in the seat. I said, G-Man? He said, greatness.
Whoa, Stewart took Jeff Gordon all the way up the racetrack in turn 3 and 4. Gordon's going to lose 2 positions to Tony Stewart and Bobby Labonte in 18.
2 Gibbs cars battle side by side now for third. Bobby Labonte. Now, moments ago, Sterling Marlin got up into the back of Matt Kenseth there at turn 2. Jacked him around a bit. That stacked everybody up behind them.
And then back behind them, Michael has somebody's gotten into him, and he's smoking.
The only way to see it all, folks, come buy a ticket.
That's it.
I think somebody told these guys, 40 laps to go, boys. You got to go now.
Jimmy Johnson is reeling in Dale Jr.
I tell you what, I'm pretty impressed with Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that 8 car. Impressed with him and that race car and the tire that's here. 50-something laps on those tires.
You know, Larry, I'm just wondering if Jeff Gordon was adjusting his brake bias, and that's what got him and Tony. Maybe it caused him to go in the corner there and do something different. Tony got into it a little bit.
It'd like to have been a mess down there. Jeff Gordon's back in 5th position right now in the 24 car.
There you see the interval as it flexes back and forth, staying about 6 or 7 tenths of a second. Dale Jr.'s only short track victory came right here in 2000. 38 laps to go on the 3/4 mile at Richmond. When we went to break, Jimmy Johnson was closing in on Dale Earnhardt Jr., but now it's changed. For the last 3 laps, Dale Earnhardt Jr. has been the fastest car on the racetrack, and he just ran his fastest lap of the race about 7 laps ago.
Which the lap he just run would have broken the old track record. And that's at with 25 laps to go here at 24.
You know, 60 or 70 lap tires.
So instead of Jimmy Johnson catching the leader, Bobby Labonte is now catching Jimmy Johnson for 2nd place.
Yeah, Bobby Labonte the last couple laps has definitely had the quickest car, but it won't be that many laps, about 10 laps before our leader, Dale Earnhardt Jr., starts catching some lap traffic.
Tony Stewart is 4th, Jeff Gordon 5th, Matt Kenseth, pole sitter Brian Vickers, then Ryan Newman and Michael Waltrip, and then 5 Fords fill out the lead lap, or 4 Fords fill out the lead lap. Mark Martin, Ricky Rudd, Dale Jarrett, and Elliott Sadler.
In the last 4 races here, Mike, every manufacturer has won a race. Chevrolet, Ford, Dodge, and Pontiac.
Matt Kenseth's been unable to gain ground as the battle for 2nd heats up. Jimmy Johnson's going to try to hold off Bobby Labonte, Matt.
If you're a Jimmy Johnson fan, you're not going to be happy with this set of news. He said he started out a little bit loose, but now the car just continues to get tighter and tighter. He's going to try to hold off the 18, but he has some work to do.
One thing I noticed, he tries to run the car really low, and these other guys have all moved up to the high groove. That would help him if he would do that, if he'd move up a little bit.
When you run low like that, you're really working that right front tire, makes that right front air pressure go up, enhances the push.
The interval is growing. It's now a second and a half. Dale Jr. back to the Jimmy Johnson-Bobby Labonte battle, and if those two get side by side, that's great.
I'd like to have the files so I can get it. Oh, I'm working on it.
The interval back to Bobby Labonte, the 18 car right now in third, almost 2 seconds behind our leader Dale Earnhardt Jr. There's Tony Stewart, Bobby Labonte's teammate, to 20, almost 4 seconds behind our leader. The only salvation Tony Stewart would have would be a caution flag.
I'm just hoping Dale Jr. didn't use up his stuff, because he's starting to slow down. These other guys are starting to speed up.
8th place battle, Ryan Newman, Michael Waltrip, Mark Martin.
But if you're going to use up your stuff, use it up now.
Each of this position for 4 championship points. And of course, quite a sizable dollar drop off on the payoff sheet as well. We'll take our last break before the checkered flag and be right back to finish it off. We're watching NASCAR on FX. Earnhardt leads by 2.8 seconds. The new 5th place car is Matt Kenseth, who dove underneath Jeff Gordon at turn 3 a couple of laps ago to move up into the top 5. 13 laps to go. And Junior continues to pull away.
The best two friends he's had has been Bobby Labonte and Jimmy Johnson back there battling side by side. As they've been battling, he's been pulling away, even working lap traffic.
You know, Larry, and we was talking about tires there a little bit ago. When your car's handling good, tires are not a real big issue. And the way the track is tonight with the grip it's got, you're not sliding around and you're not making your tires mad, and they're lasting a lot longer.
Yeah, he's 5 laps away from having 100 laps on these.
Pressure behind you.
Jimmy Johnson has been able to open up some distance on Bobby Labonte. That 2nd and 3rd place battle's going away just a bit. They still maintain a 2.5 seconds over Tony Stewart, who has 5 seconds on Matt Kenseth, who's pulled away by 1 second from Jeff Gordon, who's about to be caught by Brian Vickers, the pole sitter and his teammate. At Hendrick Motorsports, the Hendrick Bone Marrow Golf Tournament coming up on Monday. Great fundraiser for a worthy cause. Kickoff dinner at Lowe's Motor Speedway, the Speedway Club Sunday night, and then the golf tournament on Monday. Kicks off 2 weeks of action in Charlotte for the NEXTEL Cup and the Busch Series.
Pretty nice little weekend, Larry, for the 25 car. Vickers, he sets on pole and going to give him a top 10 finish.
A good night for Hendrick Motorsports. All in all, good weekend as we have 10 laps to go. Has 3 cars running here in the top 7. Of course, Kyle Busch gets the first series last night.
Darrell, you're surprised at Junior's dominance over these last 100 laps?
Well, I just think Larry and I sometimes fail to realize how important track position is. He restarted right there in the front, and I mean, he hadn't had to race anybody. It's paid off.
Clear. You're clear.
I think the other thing, I don't know, I think maybe sometimes we fail to realize just how good these race cars are.
9th place battle right here. Michael Waltrip going after Ryan Newman, trying to pick up a spot in the waning laps here.
Cars handle so good. They got such great downforce. They just can do things that now with these cars that I couldn't do when I was driving.
And making over 800 horsepower with a 355 cubic inch naturally aspirated carburetor.
On pump gas, basically.
These guys continue to go at it. Ryan Newman in the 12th car, Mike Waltrip.
3.5, 6 to go, 3.5.
You heard it, 6 laps to go for Dale Earnhardt Jr. in that Budweiser car.
Oh, he can toast in from here.
All clear.
3-lap cars up in front of him. That'll be about all he'll have to contend with. Rusty Wallace, Kevin Harvick.
Working the hex.
And I'm going to tell you right now, with 5 laps to go, these 110,000 people, every one of them are standing on their feet right now.
How about Bobby Hamilton Jr. just in front of the race leader? He's been battling Rusty Wallace for 16th spot, and he's done a great job tonight in James Finch's car.
Kept his nose clean, stayed on the lead lap for well over half the race.
One more.
I think we'll see more of Bobby Hamilton.
Outside, still there.
In
You're
next
clear.
Cup.
I know that's what he aspires to do, is to be a Cup driver. Of course, he got a great Busch team, and he and Harold Hawley are a great pair.
See Kevin Harvick in the 29 car. He's back in 25th, 4 laps down. We're riding with him right here. Remember, he had that right front tire problem about 100 or so laps ago. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has 3 laps to go.
Cars between you and second, no pressure.
Lap cars ahead, Rusty and Harvick, but a big lead for Junior.
Yeah, 3.5 seconds. 2 to go.
Still there, still there. Clear low, clear low.
Boy, Rusty didn't have the kind of night I thought he would have. Just never was up to speed tonight, didn't seem like.
Back in 16th position. Dale Earnhardt Jr. trying to get by him. He'll be coming to the white flag this time.
Flat this time, all clear. Outside, outside.
Boy, Junior just suddenly slowed. I guess he just didn't want to get involved with anything there. Got plenty of room between he and the second place car.
He can take his
All
time.
right, you're the man. That thing was awesome tonight. Good call on the pit, guys.
Coming off turn 4 for his 12th career win, Dale Earnhardt Jr. wins the Chevy American Revolution 400. Mark Martin, Brian Vickers get together on the final lap. And here comes Michael and Ryan fighting for ninth.
Ryan Newman in the 12th car. He'll end up ninth. Michael Waltrip, good run for him, ends up 10th. Ricky Rudd, last car on the lead lap, ends up 11th.
You know, that's Michael's first top 10 ever at Richmond.
Good job, guys. Celebrate, baby. Thanks, buddy.
And I've got to ditto what Dale Earnhardt Jr. said to Tony Eury Sr. and Jr. Great call. I would have never believed it. Well over 100 laps on those tires. He pulled away from the field.
Ran some of his fastest laps there at the end of the race.
I'd say we'll see a celebration here.
Well, it's a big night for Chevy. They win the pole and they sweep the top 4 positions.
There he goes. Like you mentioned, he got his second career win here. It was about 5 years ago he got his first top 10 finish in NEXTEL Cup.
Listen to that engine. Holy cow.
You're back live here in Richmond. It's the NEXTEL post-race show. NASCAR and NEXTEL, partners in speed and fast and furious. Dale Earnhardt Jr., the points champion, the winner here tonight in Richmond. We're in victory lane. So is Dick Berggren with Jr.
And this celebration has started. We are already drenched in beer. There he goes.
No, it's a big crew that can catch a driver
Diving like that.
Junior, how are you so fast on old tires at the end of that race?
Just had a good car. Tony Jr. had a great long run set up in the car. And it turned and didn't get tight. And I was real loose on new tires, so that was a good call there. Stay out.
Now, Tony Jr. just told me this is the same car that you ran in Las Vegas. Remember that. So slow you had to come back in the garage to get it squared away. How was it so fast tonight?
We really like this place. We won 5 races here, so just a good setup. Good car. We call it Aubrey James because it's number 10, like in Stroker 8. A lot of people know what I'm talking about. Good car. Just good racetrack. New pavement like it. We run up top. It's great. Jimmy, your 4th straight finish, or 4th or better. Tell us about the charge at the end. What did you have left for Junior?
I thought I had enough for him, and we dropped the flag there at the end, and he took off. So, he definitely needed the clean air to get his car running. We had about 3 tenths on him and the leaders in front of us under that green flag run. So I was smiling, but when they dropped the flag, he took off, and I was just trying to hang on to the second and hold off the 18.
All right, congratulations. His first top 10 at Richmond. Matt?
Steve, a great run tonight by the Gibbs guys. Third and fourth, and Tony Stewart, fourth place. Great car tonight. What happened on that last run?
We just, you know, I got a little loose and got into Jeff, and I'm sure Daryl and those guys up there are lobbying for me to get suspended for life from NASCAR. But, you know, it's the only incident we had all night. I mean, we had a pretty clean night. A lot of guys out there with body rubs and stuff tonight. So I'm sure if Daryl has his way and contact gets you a suspension for a race or two, we'll only have about 18 cars next week. So probably be pretty interesting running with 18 cars next week. So, but I'm happy. I mean, Zippy and these guys. Zippy's been sick for 2 days. I mean, you could barely understand him on the radio. You know, it's like I told him yesterday. I had a migraine right before happy hour. You know, I told him, I said, that's why we get the money we get paid. I mean, no substitutions. There's nobody that can do his job, and there's nobody that can do my job for him. And you know, we both got up on the wheel today. I mean, he was a trooper on the stand and kept working on the car, and just really happy. I mean, happy for Home Depot. You know, we had some of the executives from Home Depot here tonight, and
I even saw Oliver North, I think.
yeah, who knows? I'm still looking for a tattoo running around the pit area. Somebody said there was a tattoo spotting earlier, but
did it get loose or tight near the end?
Yeah, I got, you know, we were a little bit tight on the green flag stop when we went back out, and then we came back in and put 4 tires on, and we were real free on entry, so we'll keep working on it, making it better. We get back in the top 5, that's the main thing.
Tony Stewart, another top 5 here at Richmond. Chris?
All right, thanks. The last time Junior won a race?
I tell you right now.
Well, we can't try, but
You know what? It's fun to win. It really is, but
yeah, you know,
how about what these guys did tonight, Freddie? I mean,
let's talk about, we just heard where that was won, you know, with fresh tires and track position, and Junior and his crew, they ran a really smart race at the end.
Thanks, guys, but I can't do that right now. Like I say, I think right now you got to give a hats off to the track factor, the crew right there. Made the decision to stay out. Track position was so important, but when it came time, Dale Earnhardt Jr. got up on the wheel and took off. But just like Jimmy Johnson said, he said, see you later, and now he's in victory lane.
I mean, the way he's running, points racing for the championship, and then with this win, this equals the total of victories, his high, 3 wins in a season, and it's early yet. Let's check in as you dry off. You know, it is fun to be in victory lane.
Oh, yeah.
We heard from part of Gibbs Racing. Thank you very much. Let's hear from the other part, Bobby Labonte, who was third. He's with Steve Burns.
Glad you boys are having fun, Chris. Not a bad seat here on pit road either. Bobby Labonte, another good run for that 18 team.
Yeah, it was. We didn't start off very good, that's for sure. The guys had to work real hard. We got lapped down. Our car was way too tight to begin the race. And, you know, on the restart, we got with the 97 car, and he had a problem. So he pitted, and we were in front of the 48 when we caught a caution. So we weren't even the recipient of the lucky dog. We were able to catch back up. The guys at the pits made some good stops and good adjustments on the race car to get it balanced back around. And, you know, we fought it a little bit. And we came up, and we had a good car as we went, but, you know, got a little bit tight in the center, and, you know, might have could tried a few different things on it, but we had some fuel problems yesterday with the fuel line, and we really didn't get much practice in, so we kind of made a shot in the dark. So the guys did a good job on the Interstate Battery Chevrolet. Got to thank them and everybody that worked for Joe Gibbs Racing for doing a good job. That's why we finished in the top 5.
Bobby did a good job, too. Congratulations, Bobby. Let's go back upstairs and Mike Joy.
Thanks, Steve. Dale Jr. expands his lead to 40 points now over Jimmy Johnson. Jeff Gordon, no change in the top 4. Matt Kenseth. Kurt Busch falls out of the top 5. Tony Stewart moves up. And congrats to Brian Bickers. Sat on the pole, got his first career top 10.
Yeah, and a lot of great decisions made here this weekend. The racetrack being repaved, great decision. We saw great racing, good pit strategy by the 8 car, the guy that won. Good night for a lot of folks.
And what I see with Dale Earnhardt Jr. and that Budweiser team, they bobbled hard at Las Vegas. They came back the next week and won at Atlanta. They bobbled at Fontana last week. Look what they done again. They came back and won here.
And we'll close with a little bit of sad news. Doris Roberts, widow of 62 Daytona 500 winner Fireball Roberts, passed away this week. And Phil Taylor, the at-the-track rep for Simpson Race Products, passed away this afternoon. Our condolences to their families. Chris?
All right, thanks, guys. We're trying off here in victory lane. You were throwing the Gatorade on Tony earlier.
Well, I was just trying to turn the favor out there. They send the guys down here. I mean, it's great to be in victory lane, but it's really been an exciting night right now as far as what we've seen. And what else do you say about Saturday night racing?
We're wrapping things up from the victory lane. Jeff Allen and I will dry out a little bit, but the celebrating will continue for Dale Earnhardt Jr., keeping that points lead intact. It was in jeopardy tonight coming in.
And think about it like this right here. What better momentum to carry you right into Charlotte All-Star race next weekend? I mean, it's going to be really exciting, and we'll be there.
On speed, qualifying, and then, of course, on Saturday, The NASCAR NEXTEL All-Star Challenge, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. You and I will be there on stage. It's like a rock concert. The fans are right up front. Lowe's Motor Speedway. It's a great scene, great racing. Next Sunday, the NASCAR Busch Series from Nazareth. Last race there in Nazareth for the Busch Series as changes were made.
Definitely so as far as that schedule is concerned, but it's going to be a really exciting time all next week during Charlotte.
You know, you talk about this track with the repaving and the kind of racing, 3/4 mile. They put on a good show here tonight. The track showed it.
Second group came in, and we got a big benefit for it, for sure.